where is Bancroft? He's late now.
Yeah. He does that tardy thing, doesn't he?
Yeah. He's going to get all the recording of this, us whinging about him.
Yeah.
Welcome to GCP Bytes, episode number 46 for Friday, the 31st of July, 2026. GCP Bytes is a podcast where we discuss Google Cloud and tech, and I'm your host, Stephen Bancroft. On today's show, GCVE has had its first global outage. Google is killing it, but Oracle is not. And oh boy, what a fortnight it's been in AI. Find out in the AI wars. But before we get to any of that, I'd like to introduce the co-host of the show, Dave Wall. How are you, Dave?
I'm amazing, mate. I'm very impressed that you got through our intro on one take.
Like a pro
Top
that
marks.
I am. And our very own GDE, Ian Brown. How are you, mate?
I'm good, buddy. How are you?
Good. And what's
Equally impressed, mate.
well?
Kudos to you.
Go back and listen to the live show of GCP Life, and I nailed that in one take as well, live in front of an audience. So
Yeah.
it is possible.
You do thrive under the pressure.
That's it. It probably helps that I actually wrote the intro last night too, and I thought about this ahead of time. So not like my usual scramble. How we been? What's news for the fortnight? Oz alert. We all got woken up. 2 o'clock.
Bloody annoying thing. Scared living daylights out of me.
I mean, the whole thing with the whole Oz alert stuff, right? You get all the cookers out there like, oh, it's going to activate the 5G nanobots.
And mind control.
Yeah, I mean, personally, I blame Dan Andrews.
Yeah.
Mate, this government couldn't organise itself out of a wet paper bag. How are they going to mind control everyone with Oz alert? That's the thing. Look, it was pretty underwhelming. Like, my phone beeped and it wasn't much louder than the Facebook Bing is louder than the Oz alert was.
Oh no,
mine was pretty loud.
Mine was heaps loud.
No, for whatever reason it didn't. And my phone was right here on my desk, so it didn't. Wasn't that big a deal on my phone.
It was funny because I was in a meet call at the time. That started about a minute before the the alert went off, and everyone in the call were like, "What is going on?"
Yeah,
even though you'd had 3 months of notice.
Yeah, and there was like a calendar invite, with the client that was like 15 minutes beforehand as a heads up about it.
Yeah, well, there you go. Tested. We know it works. Move on. I've had some adventures during the week. I've been playing with 9-router, OmniRoute, and Hermes. So I first of all got 9-router set up. And if you don't know what 9-router and OmniRoute, what they are, the idea is it's an aggregator. It's an LLM aggregator. So you can go ahead and sign up to, a paid plan or use some of there's plenty of free, just so many free LLM providers out there. I didn't realize there were so many. And then you can put the API keys into either 9-router or OmniRoute. And then it acts as a gateway, acts as a proxy. And the cool thing is you can then sort of aggregate them together and create a round robin between multiple providers, or some sort of, I use this intelligent auto round robining between the providers. So right now I'm at the point where I've managed to get Nemotron Ultra 3. I've got that across 4 providers, and I've created a Nemotron Ultra 3 they call it a combo, which then is presented to Hermes, and it round robins or intelligent auto routes between the 4 of them, and I've basically got a 120B MOE model running for free on Hermes. It's fantastic, yeah.
And heaps of quota because you've got so many different free providers. Yeah.
Heaps of quota, right? And so you never hit the rate limit because you're cycling through them, right? And OmniRoute,
because you're using the same model, you get consistent results.
Yeah,
I suppose it's just managing context between them. I suppose would be the only thing, like cache. Sorry.
Well, that's right. You miss out on the context cache, but there are some smarts in OmniRoute to help with that. Right now, it's got compression. Oh my god, it's got compression stuff for days. So it uses headroom, it uses Caveman, it uses Rust RTK, which is Rust Token Killer. And you can turn them all on, and you can set the levels you want. You want minimum, medium, or like ultra compression. And I knew I had ultra compression on because I was just saying, this is a test, and it responded. It said, "Need help with what?" Okay, Caveman's working.
Can you see what? So if you put, this is a test. Please, make me a website. Can you see what that gets compressed down to?
Oh, yeah.
What the prompt
is?
Like,
there are stats for days. OmniRoute's got stats usage for days. You can go in, you can see which request was routed to which model, the input tokens, the output tokens, what compression was done. There's analytics out the wazoo, which is compared.
That's where you want your analytics.
That's where you want your analytiks. You want them out the wazoo.
Definitely.
And 9Router, from what I understand, there's another thing called CLI route. That was kind of the first iteration, and then someone took that and copied and made 9Router, and someone took that and copied and made OmniRoute. So every time this iterates on it, they're just adding more and more features, and the number of features in OmniRoute is just crazy. I mean, I showed you guys a screenshot the other day, and it scrolls down for days, all the things you can do with it. Look, and just to get back to that point previously, my initial challenge with this was OpenRouter, for instance, they have a / free models or something, or free routes, right? And that'll give you the best available model that's for free for your prompt, the next prompt, right? But what I found with that is, you're getting inconsistent results because it keeps going to different models, and the different models behave differently. So you'll get different. You give the same prompt and you get a different answer, right? So what I've managed to do is go through each provider. There are 121 free providers in OmniRoute. I've hooked up 17 of them, and in amongst those 17, I've managed to find 4 of them that provide Nemotron Ultra 3. And I just put them in a group and said, this is Nemotron Ultra 3, because that's kind of the best free one that I can find. And that's working great, like really consistent. It replies quickly. I haven't had a problem with hitting any sort of rate limits or token limits. And if you want some free LLMs, it's definitely the way to go.
Nemotron just reminds me of like the movie Tron. I'm sitting there going, how does Nemo fit into the movie Tron? This is
well, that's the NVIDIA model, right? That's what they call it. There's also Super, Nemotron Super, which I did have originally as well. There I found 4 providers for that, which you could use. There's a few providers that give DeepSeek V4 and Minimax. I mean, these are all the Chinese open models. You can use those as well if you want. I just wasn't getting good results with Hermes, but Nemotron is actually giving. And I had read online that Nemotron works quite well with general use agents.
Nice. Well, speaking of using all the power in the world, I've got a new battery on the house.
Oh, nice.
How's that
You're
for a good segue?
solidifying the grid there, mate.
Yeah. So we got a 30 kilowatt battery put on the house the other day, and the stats of what we use during the day is just phenomenal because I can see it all now.
Yeah, how good is it when you have the battery? Because you do actually you have that metering in there for how it works, and you can see when things are drawing at different times. Firmly recommend if you haven't ever used or haven't set up like Home Assistant.
Yeah,
getting Home Assistant and then getting that tied into your battery. Yeah.
So the interesting thing is, okay, we live in a rural area, as you know, so we run water pumps and everything we run ourselves. So we do consume an absolute bucket load of power every day.
Mm.
And the fact that we've got 62 trillion people living in our house. All bar 3 that shouldn't be here. But so we generally use about 45 kilowatt hours a day. We're down at the moment. I was just having a look at yesterday, which was our first full day of use on the battery. We're still using 21 kilowatt hours, but that covers, so our laundry isn't on the battery. The sheds aren't on the battery because they're the big drawers. They've got, like, my workshop's in there. They've got 15 amp power circuits all through the place. The ovens aren't on the battery.
Mm.
And
my little brother's caravan's not on the battery. So
but still, to have your power cut, more than half.
Yeah.
And we're in the middle of winter.
Yeah, that's right. So we've gone from, if I go back.
You'll be very interested to see what it looks like, midsummer for you.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, that's right.
You got central.
So going back,
you got central air.
No,
Yeah.
I've got 4 splits.
Yeah.
So going back, beginning of the week, we had on the regular tariff was 47 kilowatt hours and 4 kilowatt hours in the super off peak, which is the free hours.
Mm.
And yesterday we had 21 in the regular tariff and 13.36 in the super off peak. All the rest was supplied by the battery.
Mm.
Yeah, right. And then you'll pick that up now that you've got your charging cycles and stuff set to run.
Yeah.
In the 4-hour free window.
Yeah. Yeah. So that's all. That all runs at that point, and we're still on the free 3 plan because they need a number of kilowatt hours a year that they can pre-charge you. But I'll let it run for a month, and then I'll flick over to the free 4.
So it's actually interesting because you going through this change, it prompted me to go back and modify mine because I had the 3-hour one and didn't realize that until you told me that they were now doing 4 hours. And changing it because when we had all the factory running from home, our power usage was really high. So our monthly smooth charge was quite high. Since we've moved most of that off to the factory, now the home side has come down a lot, and we were in heaps of credit, but they were still charging the thing. So now, because I'm so much in credit, it's dropped down to $9 a month they're doing for the free charge until it drops back down.
Nice.
So, for the next, 6 months or so, I'm not going to bugger all power costs.
Well, so we're looking at, we get about a $500 a month power bill at the moment.
Yeah. Whew.
Yeah. It's expensive. It's $1,500 a quarter. That's a lot of money. And that's just, lots of people using power at really odd hours. Every man and his dog running TVs and heaters and ovens and God knows what else.
Yep.
So it's actually super interesting. I saw an article yesterday just about how the cheaper home batteries program is going because it's just absolute gangbusters, right? I saw, it was yesterday. They said that program has been responsible for 13 gigawatt hour. I can't remember whatever the number was, right? But the number that was added just under this program is bigger than the amount of battery installations in the US. So, in its entirety.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. This is why
that gives you an idea of how expensive power is in this country.
Yeah. But this is why we're getting free power in the middle of the day. Right?
Yeah.
Great.
Well, the batteries aren't, so the solar
solar panels,
the solar panels, because that's why we're getting that free power is because everybody's solar system that's feeding back into the grid is always feeding back in the grid between that sort of 11 and 3 p.m. mark.
Confident, yeah.
And it's absolutely smashing the power grid.
Charge your battery up right there. That's perfect. Yeah.
Well, that's exactly what I do.
Yeah.
So I've got a time of use set up on the battery system that just says, at 11 a.m., start charging to 100% immediately.
Right.
Yeah.
And then at 2 p.m., which is when the 3 hours free cuts off, then go back into self-use mode. So I basically stop drawing from the grid completely at that point.
Yeah.
Yeah, and which is then the peak time when. So it's really, really good. Sorry, I've actually just found the quote right. So there's 13 gigawatt hours of cheaper home batteries. the entire capacity of the United States home battery fleet is 9 gigawatt hours.
Ooh.
Right? So
Wowzers.
just 12 months, more than the entirety of the US consumption. So
That's fantastic.
So it's a great program.
Nice. And I got some new ear cups for my headphones.
Yeah, what's this all
I
about?
did think you looked different.
Yeah. So I've got these fancy new ear cups. No, so I was trying to find. So okay, these headphones aren't particularly expensive, right? They're just the standard Focusrite Scarlett headphones. I think they're like a MK60 or something like that. Anyway, not particularly expensive headphones, but I was like, I don't really want to throw them away because
yours were all perished from seeing in the sun. and stuff, right?
The pleather on them was just pulling apart and leaving bits on my head, and it was nasty. So I started jumping around online trying to find ear cups for it, and the ear cups were more expensive than the actual headphones themselves. I'm like, well, I'm not going to do that. I jumped onto AliExpress, as you do, and found Null Mini. And that's these ear cups that I've got, which are like they're like a fleece that goes up against your head. So super, super comfortable. They're super soft.
They look nice.
Actually,
are they bigger? Are they with the other ones?
So they're thicker than the old ones.
Yeah.
And they're far more comfortable than the old ones. So if you need new ear cups, these are the ones to go for.
Yeah, nice.
They're fantastic.
Yeah. No,
good to know, mate. Good to know.
I need new gaming headsets. My Sennies here are sort of dead. So yeah, I'll let you know when they come in, when I make a decision on that. What else has been going on? What else? Cloudflare.
Oh, yeah. So this is a nice one. So Cloudflare have now released an internal DNS service. So I don't know if you guys have ever had to deal with this whole challenge of trying to work out how to do your DNS and go, like, even just in your home lab, you go, okay, I want to have a single DNS, but I don't really want to show all my internal naming stuff. So you go like, oh, I've got
I've got it all in pie hole at the
sonar.iansdomain.com, right?
Yeah.
Like, oh, I don't really want to expose all my services behind and show my IP addressing scheme and everything in there, right? So now, and that's obviously the home lab scale, but same for corporates. You end up with this situation where you go, okay, well, we either have, an internal domain and an external domain,
Yep.
or you end up with having to do a split brain horizon thing. So it's like, well, if you're on-prem and you query the DNS servers, you see these IP addresses, and if you're external, it's other thing. And it's a pain in the ass to keep everything in sync, and you got to change it in different places.
It's never been good. There's no clean solution. No.
Yeah, so Cloudflare have basically layered on this internal DNS service, which has the concept of different views. So if you are an enterprise customer and are using Cloudflare Gateway, it can determine when a query hits 8.8.8.8. No, actually 1.1.1.1. 8 is Google. Hits 1.1.1.1. And it can see, okay, well, this request is coming for one of your internal staff members. They pass the policy. It can then query the internal DNS and come back with the response. So you don't have to have a consolidated zone. More to the point. It is one zone, but there's different views of the zone. Right, so you administrate it in one place, and then you can have different policies to say, well, who can see those internal versions of the DNS versus the external public ones, and who should be blocked altogether. Anyway, it's really cool.
Yeah, and it's all API driven as well. So like all things Cloudflare, it's terraformable, put it into your code and off you go.
Yeah. So at the moment, I think it's only on their enterprise plans. I'll be hoping to see if it ends up coming down the tiers over time, because I would definitely like to give it a crack.
What about dynamic hostname registration?
I'm not sure.
Well, so I was thinking about this earlier, and you've got your AD domain there that machines register against, so you can look them up via hostname and all that sort of stuff. But do you really want that in your primary server's domain?
I use it in my home lab. Like, that's basically how my whole thing works. So I have Terraform create a box, whatever that box name is. It spins it up, and then it auto registers itself in the DNS. It's on a dynamic IP. I don't care what the IP is, and then any other machine can find that host name.
And you can still do that because that's just an API call. But yeah, so my thinking this morning was, I was looking at it as you've got an AD domain that all your client machines register to, and they create DNS entries for each one of them. You don't really want them in the domain that you use for all your server infrastructure. I mean, I generally keep them fairly separate.
Yeah, home lab don't care.
Yeah, home lab's an entirely different thing. Yeah,
just all registers in the one place. Yeah,
yeah, exactly.
All right, cool.
Interesting solution and way of changing DNS around.
Give it a go.
Yeah, definitely.
And RAM prices. Korean RAM?
Yeah, this is interesting, right? So
Ramageddon.
The Korean stock market has absolutely taken a pounding the last few days, right? So this is really quite bizarre. It's not, I don't know if I'd say it's bizarre. I don't know if you may have noticed that RAM prices have gone through the roof. And so companies like SK Hynix, their profit has gone up 6 times. You may have seen some stuff around how they're paying like massive bonuses, like Samsung's paying just huge bonuses out to their foundry staff because they're making so much money right now. Right? There's a bit of a sniff around, like, is the good time going to come to an end? There's some headwinds, maybe that there's possibly a bit of a memory glut on its way. China's starting to make some progress on producing memory. It's I think it's also a bit of like they're making so much money right now. We know this is kind of a once-in-a-lifetime supply shortage situation with all the AI boom. There's no possible way we can sustain memory costs this high and this profitable for so long, right? Like, it's too attractive for other people to get into the market, even with the long lead times. So these ridiculous stock valuations are going to come off the boil. And now it's started to pull back. And it's so much so that the South Korean stock market has had to pull like the breakers that stop people trading like twice in the last 2 days.
Yeah, right.
Right. Like Hynix is down, I think it's like 40% in a month. There's a big drops. So it's interesting. I don't like memory itself is still really expensive, but what's going on?
What's triggered this in the Korean market though?
I think the initial one is that the Hynix results, even though their profitability went up like 6 times, they wanted, like, the market wanted 8 times or something.
Oh, wow. Okay. Yeah. Failed to stand
and
the
it seems like there's a lot of people in the Korean market or in that stock exchange in general that have just like YOLO'd into things and are not holding.
It was so overcooked for so long.
That exuberance. It's like this will only go up forever.
Nah, that doesn't happen.
No, and it's exactly those people who can't afford for it to pull back and will sell as soon as possible. So it's one of those situations.
No, just dump
kind
it.
Kind of like how SpaceX is dumping.
Speaking of space, have we seen the new constellation proposal for Amazon Leo?
Right.
So they're proposing 5,105 satellites for direct-to-device voice and data connectivity.
Yeah, right.
So your mobile phone stuff, yeah.
Yeah, that fascinates me how that actually works.
Well, yeah, you and me both. But that puts them in direct competition now with SpaceX and a few others that are like AST Space Mobile and a few other ones like that. But they've also got the contract for NBN. So Amazon Leo is going to be taking over Sky Muster. Well, it's not taking over Sky Muster, it's replacing Sky Muster. So this is going to be quite an interesting little fight.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I think any competition in that space is great, right? That's, we do need that as much as having 100,000, 200,000 satellites like swarming above us is starting to, feel a little Kessler-ish.
Yeah.
But having more providers in that space is great. And the direct service to telephony without needing to have a sat phone is nothing but good, right?
Yeah.
Like when
fantastic.
you guys were up at Cape York,
Yeah.
like
We had a sat
what was
phone.
the phone coverage like up there?
No, well, we had a sat phone with us for that very reason.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think anything like that is great, right? So
Yeah. How does this pump out that much power to get up there, though? I don't know. Yeah. Let's go and find out how that works. And then finally, we've got Arcfra.
yeah, I just think this is a little bit of a fun one because I heard about this thing for the first time yesterday. All right, so Arcfra is a hypervisor that looks really slick. And I was like, where did this come from? What is the go? Because I saw an article that Foxconn has now selected it for like their global hypervisor.
Get that VMware out of there.
Yeah.
Well, exactly.
VMware.
They're throwing VMware in the bin.
Yeah.
They're going with Arcfra because it's a full. It's like Nutanix, right? It's not just a Proxmox, ESX replacement. It does software-defined networking. You can do microsegmentation. It can do file and block storage. It's got everything in there.
It's got Kubernetes engine backup.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. And in fact, you can use it the same way. Like my first exposure to Nutanix, way back in the day, was using it to do the hyperconverged storage for ESX. So we were a VMware estate, but we had Nutanix doing the storage layer, and it was basically running as a VM in there. We weren't using AHV, which is the Nutanix hypervisor. Arcfra can do the same thing. So I don't really know why you would do this, because if you're paying for VMware now, you get vSAN. So, but maybe you're trying it as part of a transition. But regardless, it's really slick. Turns out there's another hypervisor that was a China-only one called SmartX. Been around for ages, apparently, but heavy China focus. And Arcfra has picked up like the license for global distribution of that. So they've sort of forked it, and they're making it available in a global market. Definitely one to keep an eye out on. They reckon that their TCO is half of VCF, which is is good to see. I couldn't find any pricing published, but it does look pretty cool. So I might chuck in a partner request and see if I can get access to it.
Yeah, I read somewhere that the guys who founded it were ex-VMware engineers.
but like way back, like 15 years
2015
ago.
2015 or something,
Yeah.
So another one to keep an eye on. We like to see any interesting sort of VMware competitors out there, and this looks pretty cool. So.
Yeah. And their migration engine targets VMware ESXi to Arcfra Virtual Engine migration. So of course it does. Cool. Check that one out. And with that, I think we're done with the banner, guys.
Indeed.
Let's get on with the shoe.
Let's get on with the community news. Okay, Ian, take it away. What do we got this week?
Righto, we've got 5 this week. So starting in Brisbane, as I always do, GDG Brisbane presents the Build and Tell. Now, I've never heard of a Build and Tell before this morning.
Like a show and tell.
Just then.
Like a show and tell.
It's like a show and tell, exactly. You Build and Tell. So that's going to be held on August 21st at 5:30 p.m. at the Precinct in the Valley. Next one, going down to Sydney. Sydney's meetup for August is happening on the 6th of August at 5:30 p.m. at Google in Piermont.
And that's going to be what's new in Android 2026, governing and scaling OpenAI agents on GCP with LangChain. Sounds good.
Yeah. Melbourne, they're having their August coding night. So Melbourne always got tons of activities on there. They're so active. August 19th at 5:30 p.m. at the Metal Group head office. And yeah, that's like bring a laptop, do some coding, get some pointers from people who are better at coding than you are.
Yep. So bring a laptop, open your coding agent, put a prompt in. That's where we're at.
Yeah, for some people. There's a lot of people in the coding world that still write it by hand.
Still code by hand. Wow. Okay.
Yeah. Yep. All right, Adelaide. They're having their Build with AI event. It's happening on the 19th of August at 5:30 p.m. That's 5:30 p.m. my time, so it's 5:10 p.m. Adelaide time. That's happening at the Core Innovation Hub in Adelaide City. And last but not least is Perth. They're having their Build with AI event as well. That's on the 31st of July, so the day that this is released. It's happening 7 p.m. or it's 5 p.m. Perth time. And that's happening at the Mia Yalagonga building in Perth.
And that's Anu again.
It is.
And that one will be open your laptop, start your coding agent, type in your prompt.
Yep, correct.
All right, thanks for that, Ian. And with that done, let's get on with the news items. First news item this week, AMD stock surges. What's going on with AMD? AMD stock surges 5% as Microsoft locks in a massive AI infrastructure deal. How's this come about? The centerpiece of this deal is Microsoft's wide-scale deployment of the AMD Helios rack-scale solution to drive frontier model AI inference across Azure services and enterprise customer workloads. So we're starting to see some sort of, I don't know, like two sides of the fence happening here. We've got AMD and Microsoft teaming up, and then you've got Google with their full stack.
Yeah, sorry, I
don't know.
So I'm like, I'm trying to find some.
Helios, so as an integrated power rack combining AMD Instinct MI455X GPU, 6th Gen EPYC Venice CPUs, Pensado networking, and ROC-M software is scheduled to begin shipping in the second half of 2026. So, yeah, in much the same vein as what NVIDIA is doing, creating this full stack, AMD's, following suit. Not to be outdone, but and selling it to Microsoft, which given it's interesting, given AMD where AMD began, basically copying the Intel CPU where that Microsoft was using in their little known operating system at the time. Here we are, there's supplying them AI infrastructure. And they surged 5% on that. So, yeah, interesting team up there between the two of them.
Yeah, definitely.
And not to be outdone, the MS results, Microsoft results on the back of that, AI spending, cloud margins, and why the stock keeps falling. So Microsoft has topped earnings expectations consistently in recent years, that its stock is a near 1-year low. Now, analysts expected revenue of about $87.7 billion for the quarter, up from $14.7 from a year ago, and earnings of $4.24 per share. Microsoft told investors to expect more than $40 billion in capital spending for the quarter, which would be a record, up from $31.9 in the March quarter and $37.7 in the year before that. So basically, they're spending a lot of money. Now, what puzzled me about this is, they've gone off and said, we're spending a lot of money, but everyone is. So why is this affecting their revenue so much, their stock prices so much? Well, if you look at this graph, you'll see all the things that have happened. Right at the end there, Microsoft 365 outage, boom. You can see the crash, right? Job cuts, voluntary retirements, all of these things have happened. Big spend with Anthropic, on and on and on. And since high at November, the end of last year, it's just been a downward spiral.
Yeah, it has, hasn't it?
Yeah, and it looks like their profit margin on cloud is pulling back now. So from a high of sort of 73% down to they're about 64 is where they're suggesting that they're going.
Yep. And on top of that, take another quote from the article, big pictures, investors seem to have decided the capital spending is getting ahead of the payoff. I mean, we could.
But they're all.
We could
all
say this about.
Are chasing.
We could say this about
Detroit.
any of them, right? Any of the hyperscalers.
Yeah, exactly. They're all doing the same thing.
Yeah, and just that comment there. I mean, bubble bursting, perhaps. I don't know. It could happen.
I think this goes into a little bit of the data center furor that's happening in the US, where every man and his dog's building a data center these days, and we'll cover the Oracle debacle a bit later.
And there's a backlash.
There's a backlash,
yeah. People don't want them. There's clearly a backlash against AI slop on the internet.
There is.
Yeah.
Facebook's full of it these days. If you troll Facebook for more than 5 minutes, it is just AI slop, article after article after article.
And so I definitely I saw a plumbing van drove past me yesterday, and I had a visceral reaction because they've used an AI slot. If I said hey, turn myself into an AI image. Now, if I did that and I just I used it for a meme, I chucked it in our chat just as it's fine, right? Don't use an AI slop image and then go to a signage company and go, I want you to print this out and wrap my van in it. Right? And it's going to be on my van for the next 10 years. Like, dude.
Yeah, exactly.
Don't do that.
Yep.
Slop is for disposable.
Yeah. Slop is slop, right?
Yeah.
Even YouTube now, you can pick it. Like when the script,
the thumbnails,
and when the scripts are written by AI, you can pick it as well. There's certain phrases that just keep coming up and up. You can tell it's just
Matty does it. So my young fella, he trawls the shorts. Absolutely loves them. Just sits there for hours on end. Just really bad for your brain. But just trawling them, and you watch him. Hey,
social media ban.
Yeah, well, it doesn't work. So
no,
it's like the piracy firewall that we put in Australia. It doesn't work.
No,
governments are really shit at doing technological stuff like that. Anyway, so you watch Matty scrolling, and he'll just be sitting there going slop, slop.
Oh yeah,
slop, slop, and it just moves. He doesn't give it any more than half a second of looking at it, and just goes, "That's AI. Get it. Move on."
Yeah, so I think, this is all feeding into, losses that these, Microsoft is seeing. Hasn't really affected Google yet. We're going to get onto that in a sec.
Let's just jump into it, man.
Let's jump into that. Google
segue.
Google's killing it. There's my segue. What do we got here? You guys got it up. Google.
Their AI token has surged 37.5%.
Yeah, Google Cloud revenue surges 82% on AI inference compute boom. And it's the total opposite, right?
Yeah.
I mean, what I love is every time we have a quarterly results for Google and seeing how much Google Cloud is making. And the three of us have been watching this for long enough. We remember when Google Cloud just lost money.
Yep.
Yeah.
Right. Yep. And we saw as we were starting the podcast, every quarter we'd see it lose a little bit less money.
Mm-hmm,
and I remember the first quarter where they made a profit. We're like, it's amazing.
Yeah.
And now look at it go.
And now everyone's shocked. Where did this come from? How did this happen? Well.
So I see this as, we've got Google is making money hand over fist because of Gemini. Okay. And for the most part, that's where their growth is become. Microsoft is losing money hand over fist because of Copilot.
Because it's crap.
I'm sorry, but
it is crap.
I tried it. I've tried it a few times. It sucks.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I'd say it's a little generous to say it's because of Gemini. Because
well,
of the
yeah.
infrastructure that can run
Around
Gemini that they can
Gemini,
also sell to
Yeah.
other companies.
Well, yes, but their model is nothing on what Google's got in theirs. It really isn't. It's not a pinch on it. It's my very simplistic view.
Yeah, Gemini API throughput increased from 16 billion tokens per minute in the first quarter of 20 to 22 billion tokens per minute in the second quarter, representing a 37.5% increase in a single quarter. Look, what Google does have is a great Office suite combined with, an okay Office suite combined with an okay model. Right, and you get, whereas if you go to Azure or Microsoft route, you get like your Premier Office suite, but like some sort of garbage AI LLM to go along with it, right?
Being hacked together by 10-year-olds.
Right. And yeah, and I mean you could argue whether Office is like as good as they think it is, but I like Google Workspace. It does everything I need it to do. And then you get Gemini along with it as well. So clearly the market seems to like it. People seem to like it.
Yep, I agree.
Yep. And, they're like Gemini Enterprise is starting to get some massive penetration. I think I see a thing here about, 90% of the Fortune 100 are using it now. So, yeah, it's some pretty,
it's
pretty
huge.
slick stuff going in. But you know who's not looking good?
Nice segue. Oracle are in the doo-doo. Go to polar opposite. Article here on the Register. Oracle faces $100 million annual bill to back Wisconsin data center power promises. And I agree with you, Ian. This article's sort of written us about. But it gets there in the end. Look, the main headline they say with this one, the Oracle says it could face more than $100 million a year in financial costs to guarantee the power commitments behind a nearly 1 gigawatt data center campus that is developing in Wisconsin with Vantage and OpenAI.
Yeah, so the crux behind this is so they've got the blessing of the local energy utilities. It's called We Energies. To build this lighthouse campus in Port Washington. But the Public Service Commission of Wisconsin has sort of said, well, if you're going to do that, we need a promise from you that that equates to the entire power consumption for the next however many years it is that they've committed to it, right? Which works out to be about $7 billion. Now, the reason why they've done this is because Oracle are no longer rated an A class.
They're bonds.
They're bonds, yeah. So they've been, the S&P rated Oracle as a triple B and then downgraded them earlier this month to a triple B minus.
Right. And they need at least an A minus.
They need at least an A minus in order to not have to post that bond to, or post that letter of credit.
Right. To guarantee the $7 billion. Yeah.
Yep. So that's sort of where it all goes. Oracle have gone back and sort of put a request in that it be reconsidered, and the Public Service Commission, it declined to take action on the petition, which is a nice way of saying no.
Yeah.
Sort yourself out.
Yeah.
Right. So basically,
it's good to see all these municipalities pushing back on it's like, yes, if you want to build the data center, fine. But we've seen this where power grids are built to a particular specification, and certainly I know there's been criticisms in the past of you would see we've been gold plating because we've been building our grid to support these peaks, right? And now part of our grid, especially with all the battery rollouts, the grid is modernizing. So you're seeing this thing where data centers are coming in and basically wanting to enjoy some of our socialized power grids, like the costs of building that out that we all paid for. And they're like, oh, great, we'll just come in, we'll just tap into that, and we're going to start taking 10 megawatts of consistent draw at all points in time. And then that puts the pressure back onto the grid to then have to build out again. And who pays for that? the consumer.
Yeah, that's right.
So, the fact that we're coming back and go, all right, no, you can put this load in, you got to make contributions.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Right. It's like a property developer. Like a property developer goes, yeah, we're going to take this farmland and we're going to build we're going to build a new suburb there. But, okay, the people who are going to come in there, all the main roads and everything that's feeding in there, and you're going to need schools and parks and all the other stuff. You can't just sell the houses and leave it for the nation to have to tolerate the rest.
Yeah, you're going to have to upgrade the roads in and out of there, and Yep.
You're going to have to power it and water it, and so the wash up is Oracle could be left with a massive data center lease that it might be unable to exit or have to release to new tenants under less favourable terms if they don't get their credit.
All of this happened because PSC considered We Energy's application for the very large customer, which is what they call it, and bespoke resources tariff status around the data center. It modified the tariff to address the risk of transmission cost shifting from the data center customers to the existing customers. Back to as Dave was saying, that is the whole crux of this. You need to fork out this $7 billion because we don't want our end users forking out that bill.
All right. Well, so the wash up there is Microsoft not doing great, Oracle not doing great, Google doing awesome.
Yeah.
That's our finance stories for the week.
Yeah, that's it.
In a nutshell.
Meanwhile, over at Apple, Apple sends legal letters to OpenAI. Now, they had a case. They filed a lawsuit last week. And did we cover it? I can't recall. No. They filed a lawsuit against Apple AI in which the company alleged a coordinated effort to obtain confidential information relating to its hardware engineering and product developments. Now, Apple claims OpenAI recruited key engineers, including former executive Tang Tan and Cheng Lu, and benefited from proprietary designs. 400 former Apple employees now work at OpenAI, and Apple has sent them a letter to say don't destroy any evidence because we need it all for the court case.
Yep. Yeah, that pretty much sums up that article.
Yep. There you go.
So once upon a time, and I can't remember what company it was, but Steve Jobs had a run-in with another company that was, we'll use the term, poaching Apple employees. And he actually went to that he had a meeting with the CEO of that company and said, look, if you want to continue doing this, what was it?
It was Adobe.
Adobe, yeah, that's it. If you want to keep doing this, then, maybe Apple needs to start looking at hiring some Adobe employees. And so their gentleman's agreement, because I had a gentleman's agreement to start with that said you wouldn't poach employees off each other. And Adobe started going against that. And so Steve Jobs was like, well, maybe Apple needs to start recruiting Adobe employees.
Yeah, so it was like, I understood that we would not do this. Yeah. Perhaps we need to change our policy.
Yeah.
And of course, Apple in 2005, when Jobs sent that email across to Adobe, it was hot. Well, this is right before the launch of the iPhone. Like, everyone was all in on Apple at the time. So, yeah, I wouldn't have wanted to face that talent war. And, and they did actually pull back. Like, Adobe actually said, okay, we just won't take any of your engineers.
Yeah, exactly.
Right. It reminds me of Bunnings and Hardware House. They had a general.
What's a hardware house?
Yeah. See, you don't know. So they had Bunnings in Victoria and they had Hardware House in New South Wales, right? And Hardware House was massive, and they had a gentleman's agreement that neither would cross the border. And then Hardware House, I think, went into just. Yeah, screw that. They went into Victoria, and then Bunnings said, "You're done," and then it just went and overtook everything. They had an ad. Gee, it's grouse at Hardware House.
Yeah, right. We had like Mitre 10 is still around in a very few locations, and we had Home Hardware. I don't think any of the Home Hardwares exist anymore.
Yeah, Home Hardware. I think Home Hardware got rolled up into Bunnings at some point. I think it got bought out.
I do miss the dogs as their mascots, and they used to say dog-a-log out now.
Yeah, that's it.
We do have both still, Mitre 10 and Hardware House. And what was
Bunnings.
it?
Bunnings.
Bunnings and Mitre 10 and the other one.
Home Hardware.
Home Hardware, yeah. But Home Hardware tends to be like trade. They'll be like trade yards usually.
Sure.
We've got Mitre 10 is still very prolific in rural communities in Queensland. So, like, we've got a Mitre 10 here in Nambour. There's Mitre 10s all over the place. You won't find a Bunnings unless it's like a you'll get Bunnings down at Maroochydore. You'll get Bunnings in Gympie. You get Bunnings like in big centres. But when it's like little rural towns, it'll always be a Mitre 10. Or
I guess Mitre 10 maybe still operates like a franchise model.
It does.
Whereas Bunnings is all West Farmers.
Yeah. So Mitre 10 around here is Sunshine Mitre 10, and that goes from here all the way up to, I think they're in Bundaberg as well.
Right.
They've got a fair swath of ground.
Right. All right, now we've discussed everything, including hardwares. Let's get on with some actual technical stories.
GCP Bytes, a show about everything.
About everything, exactly.
Not just technology.
Now, we were in the middle of something. Literally, as we were kind of recording last week, a global GCVE outage, the first one that had occurred. We didn't cover it last week because, as I said, we were right in the middle of it. Dave, I guess you were in the hot seat, and you know exactly, and you were talking to the people, and we were right at the coalface of this one. What went down?
Yeah,
what time did we get online?
It's BGP, man. It's always BGP.
Yeah.
I mean, Google, as they do, they were making a back-end network change that happened to affect a particular subnet. Unfortunately, that's the subnet that was used for intra-cluster communications if you have stretched vSAN. And that impacted Melbourne, Sydney, Frankfurt, basically the big markets that are like the big vSAN, stretch vSAN markets, right? So like Australia is huge for GCVE. It's, I think in terms of, I guess as a percentage of Google Cloud spend, Australia is like the biggest GCVE market for like the rest of Google Cloud in Australia, like as a percentage. And it's big in Frankfurt as well. Frankfurt being a massive financial hub for, Western Europe. So yeah, unfortunately, stretched vSAN being what you have for your production systems, it took off one of the zones. So like most of the environment was up. You could fail over. Your zone A was sort of okay, or zone B, depending on like where the particular issues happened in the different regions. Definitely for our customers, we have definitely saw the impacts. Good times.
Incidentally, it didn't hit any of the customers that we know in Sydney didn't get affected.
Because they weren't using stretched vSAN.
No, it was stretched vSAN, yeah.
Yeah, no.
Yeah, stretched that were okay.
Yeah,
Google made
Sydney seemed to have been okay.
Yeah, Google made a network setting change that accidentally broke the connection between the two data center zones in VMware Engine. The virtual machines themselves kept running fine, but nobody could reach them.
Yeah, so the story that I got was that they reused an IP range that wasn't being used in the US, that is being used in the three zones that it affected for inter-VLAN communications or inter-vSAN communications. So that's why BGP started flapping, because you've got a duplicate network in there and BGP is going, no, I'm over here. No, I'm over here. No, I'm over here. And it's just fighting between itself. So
flip-flop, yeah.
Yeah, that's the now, I'm not going to say who gave me that bit of information, needless to say.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
That the internal thing is that it's a duplicate network that the US had decided to roll out that isn't being used in the US but is being used in other places.
Wonder what they're using for their IPAM. Neil Shah, Neil Shah, Vice President at Counterpoint Research, so this is the article I'll link in the show notes, said the real culprit here is the SDN orchestration control plane, where a routine internal network update or configuration tweak introduced routing failure across multiple zones. While most of the physical nodes are distributed for exactly this redundancy purposes, they are still tightly coupled to a singular shared orchestration fabric. So if the control plane crashes, then everything comes down and the physical distributed nodes become irrelevant. Which is more or less exactly what we saw.
Yeah.
So there we go. Hot off the press as well from people that were actually there living it. And then as soon as they fixed it, like it came up, it was like nothing happened, right? Nothing, nothing at all.
It took probably 24 hours for vSAN to resync.
It was just a couple of hours.
Yeah, I thought it was more than that, but
it was done by the time I got off the call. It was all back in sync. So
yeah, right, yeah, because my concept of time was pretty screwed up by then.
By that time, yeah.
We'd been on calls since 6 o'clock in the morning. It was pretty.
I mean, you can never trust the vSAN estimator. It was like, I'm going to need to do this, and it's going to take 2 days, and then like 2 hours later, it was done. Like,
yeah,
yep. Just like the time on your GPS. All right. Token efficient engineering. Just to switch gears a little bit here as we build up towards the end of the show. Guide to AI tokenomics. 11 principles for token efficient software engineering. Now, if you've got your coding agent there and you're blasting away at it, and it keeps reloading your context and keeps scanning your code base, and keeping that cache full. There's got to be a way to save some tokens, because tokens are all about is how you pay for the thing. And this gives some pretty handy tips, right? Start with a balanced model. Of course, they're recommending Gemini Flash 3.5. Medium. To gauge complexity. Use skills from the beginning. This is one that I'm not real good at. I just never think of any.
Skills are fantastic. You've got to use them. They're awesome.
I've got some, but what? What do you put as a skill?
Well, so I code in 2 different languages. So I've got Go and JavaScript, so React.
Yeah.
And I've got a skill in each of those directories in the repo that gives the agent. So when it's working on Go code, it reads the skill from in there and says you're an senior software engineer specializing in Golang, and you need to follow these conventions and all that sort of stuff, so that the agent actually does stick to the best practice. Because otherwise it'll just go off and write whatever it wants.
Right. Okay.
Yeah, a big one that's suggested to put in there is, like, for example, you got your different languages, is to make sure that you have the right skills that point to tools so it can natively understand the code.
Yep.
Because if you don't, you'll notice how much grepping it does.
Yeah.
Right.
I have noticed that.
So to stop it just falling back to grepping, you can if you have Python code, you can, there are skills that say, hey, use these tools so it can more natively actually understand the code without actually just having to like grep and set its way through the files.
Yeah.
Right. Okay.
And in there you can put in your link to your OKFs and all that sort of stuff. But so for instance,
I've done that. Yep.
So in mine, I've got that you're a specialized AI assistant for software development using the Golang programming language. I've given it a whole heap of code conventions. I've given it a whole heap of development guidelines. So you always have to run these. You've got to follow all these steps. And here are your specific skills for doing this job.
Okay.
So,
I got to think about this a little bit more. But yes, use skills from the beginning. All right.
Yep.
Automate with scripts and CLI tools for repetitive chores like formatting, etc., etc. So an example of this might be Terraform format.
Yep.
Right. Avoid long trial and error loops. You might have a script that you've already written in there, set it up as a skill to say this does this if you want to achieve this thing, right?
There's actually a website talking about skills. There's a website that's called skills.md. If you go there, it'll give you a whole heap of skills.
Here we go. Yeah, nice. Image, deep research, video, general presentation, security audit, email campaign, invoice. Oh, yeah, this is what I need for my agent, the email campaign thing. All right.
Yep.
All right, that's on my list, my to-do list. What else we got here? We've got delegate output heavy tasks. So delegate output heavy tasks like deep research or separating front-end and back-end work to sub-agents.
Yep.
No, this is good. And Devon will do this, right? So it spins up sub-agents and does a bit of work and then pulls that back to the main agent so you've got clean context.
That's what Ultra Code does in Claude
as well. Yeah. So
Yep.
I've got Claude to do this as well, and I've got Devon to do it. It's fantastic.
Yep. Divide and conquer, elephants and goldfish. Now, I've talked about this strategy before. So this is where you have an elephant, which you use like the big model to generate a detailed execution plan, and then you send that plan to your goldfish, and they're your highly specialized models to achieve the each of the tasks. And they'll typically use lower tokens, less tokens. Shift verification left, automate testing early, run local builds and unit function tests before doing UI testing if you're building your UI thing. Undo when adrift. If the agent drifts, oh boy, and it can, use the undo button. So in Devon, you've got a button where you can say roll back to this point in time, and it pulls the context back to there. So you're not
Poisoning
polluting
the well.
the context with all this garbage that's been generated. Yeah.
Yep.
Be specific with context. So I think we know this one as well. Rather than micromanaging, a clear instruction with a few spelling errors is better than a grammatically accurate broad request. Right. So be short and sharp and just get it to focusing on what you need done. Iterate on rules. If you keep correcting a model's behavior, then use your global rules in Agent MD, audit the skill, fix the instruction instead of prompting the agent repeatedly. So get it doing the right thing from the beginning. Avoid uncontrolled loops. Oh boy, I had Kimmy doing this. I sent a screenshot to you guys with Kimmy doing this. Sometimes they can just get into a loop. Stop it. Go back, look at your skills and your Agent MD. Start a new session for each topic. Once again, you're not poisoning the context each time. It doesn't have to reload that. If you've got your skills set up properly, then it should be fine to start a new context. And then prioritize. Token optimization is about directing the AI's attention. Get it to focus in on what you really need done. Good article. Go take a look. Now, OmniRoute, I mentioned earlier, has a heap of compression tools built in, and that'll save you a lot of tokens as well. And if you're using all that, then you'll hopefully save yourself some money, or you can use the free models even more efficiently. Now, if you want to really save some tokens, you probably want to use OKF, and I have been using OKF. There's a new versions released, 0.2, and they've introduced a couple of new fields. And this is all about trust and provenance, right? So basically what we're trying to say is if a human has created an entry, an MD file, then you really need to trust that and you really need to be working towards that. But if an AI has created it, then it may not be doesn't have such a strong provenance.
Well, and even more so is you want your OKFs to be updated automatically as part of your development, so that it's always valid.
Yes.
This
is where you put a skill in. I've mentioned this before.
Yeah,
you put a skill to do that each time. Yep.
Yeah, that's right. And so this is adding generated verified status and stale after tags into the into the header, so that you can say it's generated by a reference agent at whatever date, and then it's been verified by a human at whatever date. And you can say, yep, okay, status is stable, but it becomes stale after this date.
Yeah, you've got a freshness. So you've got provenance, trust, freshness, life cycle, and attestation.
Yep.
And with those, absolutely right. You know how valid it is, whether it's, you know, how fresh it is, where if it's even where it is in the life cycle, and you know who's generated it. If you know, yeah, Jim Smith at acme.com has generated it, then a real person's put that in there, so you better pay attention to it, right?
Well, and then the thing I really like about this is you can deprecate features. Like if an OKF document describes a specific feature of your app and you want to deprecate that feature because you've created a new one, you can change the status to deprecated, and so your models don't start developing on that feature anymore.
But don't remove it. They're just
don't remove it. It's deprecated. It's there for posterity, but we're not going to actively develop it. And I do love the attestation stuff. So you can do an attestation computation. So like in the example they've got here is a SQL query for getting to a specific result.
Yeah, right. It's interesting because I'm just thinking in one of my code repos, I could, if I went through my OKFs and spent the time just tailoring that a little bit, then I could just say, go build, look at the new OKFs and go and make the code changes based on that.
Well, you did. So your check the OKF should be part of your agents.md. So that it automatically checks, like before it starts anything, it has to check the OKFs.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. So new version. Now you can go to the GitHub, and they're actively requesting that, you know, people should go and, you know, make feature requests and suggestions and pull requests against it to contribute to this. I think this is quite an interesting way to code. Quite an interesting way to develop something. And finally, just before we get onto the AI wars, I don't know how I feel about this, but Google's rolling out a new selfie video sign-in feature. Don't we kind of already have this?
No. So we've got facial recognition, right? And that's fine. We've had facial recognition for years. And like there's lots of people who are like, oh, I'll never use facial recognition because it's tracking my biometrics and blah, blah, blah. Every time you get on a video call, Google can do that if they really wanted to. But they don't. So what this is doing is you can record a video of your face doing certain movements that Google will get you to do in the video as a verification of who you are. So obviously they're doing a whole heap of surface analysis on that video to see what the surfaces of your face look like, give a 3D dimension of your face and all that. And then if you need to authenticate to your phone for sign-in purposes or whatever, you can do that same set of movements and it will verify that fingerprint matches the stored fingerprint, and in you get. It's exactly the same as facial recognition on your phone is right now. It's just a little bit more elaborate.
Right. It's just a movement thing.
Yeah.
Too slow. That's why I don't use facial recognition. Like every time you pick your phone up, you've got to, nah.
I don't know. It's just like on the iPhone, it's instantaneous, but I see this more as a sign in for, you've got onto a device for the first time and you need to set it up, and obviously you don't have your facial recognition fingerprint in there, so you do this video sign in. I see it as something like that, like really useful for that sort of thing.
Yeah, okay. we'll see how it pans out. I won't be using it, I have to say. All right, then. This is going to be some news. Let's get on with the AI Wars.
AI Wars.
We've got new models everywhere. Gemini, Google's kicked off new Gemini models. What do we got? We've got Gemini 3.6 Flash, 3.5 Flash Lite, and 3.5 Flash Cyber.
Cyber.
And in parallel, our team is already focusing on building the next gen of models. We have started our most ambitious pre-training run yet for Gemini 4.
They better hurry up.
Yeah, they better hurry up. What's the word on the street? What are we thinking about 3.6 Flash and 3.5 Flash Lite?
It's not had the greatest reviews in the chat threads I've seen. I've seen a lot of people complaining that 3.6 Flash can't do the same jobs that 3.5 can.
I tried it a little bit too, and it wasn't cutting the mustard for me either.
Yep.
But anyway, 3.6 Flash delivers high precision with fewer unwanted code edits and reduced execution loops. Okay. It has improved compute user capabilities, and computer use is now built in client side. So maybe you're doing computer use with it. It outperforms 3.5 Flash in knowledge work, as shown by several benchmarks. Customers Heba and Harvey have found it particularly capable in multimodal tasks like document
I
parsing.
suppose the big thing on this one is just the amount of tokens it requires to do the work is significantly reduced.
Yeah, so 17% less tokens compared to 3.5 Flash. The quote here is, in some benchmarks like Deep SWE by DataCurve, they observed up to 65% less token use.
And then you got Flash Lite as well. So if you have a workflow where just getting the response as quickly as possible is one of the most important features, then they have Flash Lite. So it returns a third of the time, I think, of regular Flash.
Yeah, wow. That would be at the cost of accuracy, though, wouldn't it?
Well, for sure, right?
Yeah. And it's got some pretty good benchmarks as well versus 3.1 Flash Lite. On many agentic encoding levels, 3.5 Flash Lite even outperforms 3 Flash. For a light model, that's pretty good, including HWE Bench Pro and OS World Verified, making it a faster and more capable option for workloads on both 2.5 and 3 Flash.
Yeah, very nice.
So they're doing something.
I think all of us are, really just waiting to see, it's Gemini 4 now. Like we're going to go through the models coming from everybody else now, but like Google's state of the art models, very much behind.
They're behind right now. Now Kimi 3, when this dropped, so this is an open weight model. And
the open weights just came out. They sort of released the closed weights one like 2.5 weeks ago.
Yep.
Open weights is out now this week.
It's out this week, yeah. And it's a 2.8 trillion parameter model.
Yeah.
From Chinese company Moonshot. Anyone played with this yet?
No, I have not.
It's in Devon. If you've got adaptives, you've probably used it and haven't known.
I was just about to say, I am using adaptive mode in Devon, so I may well have used it and I just don't know.
Yeah.
Because I don't really care what model I'm using in Devon as long as the output that I'm getting is valid.
Yeah.
Couldn't care less.
Yeah. Until you run out of tokens and then you've got to flip over to GLM 5.2 because it's free. Which is pretty good model as well.
I haven't hit that yet.
The announcement had an immediate impact on shares in Moonshot's domestic competitors, Zhipu and Minimax, which tumbled sharply in Hong Kong by about 27 and 16% respectively. We're probably going to get another model from Minimax because it's a bit behind now as well. So Kimi, another one to watch out for. Kimi 3. Now, Anthropic A lot of moves at Anthropic.
Big time.
Yeah, so Fable's removed from the pro level plans. I know you were upset about this, Dave.
Yeah. I think like everyone who was only on Pro instead of Max, Fable was removed. They gave us all some usage credits, but they did take it away. And I was pretty bummed out for a couple of days.
This is the sad emojis.
Emojis.
It did say here that it was a promotion that allowed
Yes,
you
but
to
they
use
kept
up to 50%.
extending it, right?
Yeah.
Because you had GPT 5.6 came out, and they kept adding weeks to it, and we're like, oh, great, hey, Fable keeps going, we keep getting it. Maybe it'll stay permanently.
Yeah,
and then it went away, and I was very sad. I was very sad.
We need a
However-
sad Dave emoji.
But 2 days later,
Boom.
Opus 5.
They drop Opus
Yeah,
5.
Yeah.
Now-
I don't want to play with you anymore, Fable 5. Opus 5.
Now this is
Almost
their
as
fourth
good,
model in
half the
8.
cost.
This is their fourth model in 8 weeks.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
what's going on?
Yeah,
And-
we got new Sonnet, new Opus, new Fable.
And Opus 5 beats Fable in a lot of categories.
Yeah.
A
Yeah.
lot of them.
Yeah, it's they're saying it's close to or on par or close to Mythos. So let's look at some numbers here. Agentic terminal coding 43.3%. Knowledge work 1861, which beats Fable, which is 1747. What are some other agentic search 90.8%?
No, novel problem solving. Have a look at that stat.
Oh yeah, okay, that's an issue. I skipped over that. didn't I?
30.2% versus the nearest competitor is GPT 5.6 Sol at 7.8%.
Yeah. And GPT-5.6 Sol was like a big deal.
Yeah.
And here we are. They're getting left behind.
Yeah, that was
left in
that
dust.
that Arc AGI 3. Like, yeah, this is going to be the benchmark, right? This is really going to prove it. And now we've already got one that's doing 30%. Like, we have to come up with a harder benchmark.
Yeah, exactly.
What else can we take away from this?
It's just that it's a lot cheaper to run.
Yep.
It's like half the tokens.
Yep. Business workflows, 26%. The others are like languishing down around 17, 18%. So yeah, we've got it in Devon. So you can have a little play with it there. But
I was going to say, speaking of Sol, isn't that the one that broke out and hacked Hugging Face?
it is. We'll get onto that one. But just before that, Quen also, we've got a new Quen model out, Quen 3.8. And what's
it's coming soon. It's not out yet. So I did have a look on the Quen Cloud Marketplace, and it's not mentioned there at all at this point.
Okay.
They do have Quen 3.7 Plus and Max out at the moment,
Right.
but 3.8 is in the works. It will come very shortly.
3.8 max preview, yeah. And it's a 2.4 trillion parameter model, so
Yeah.
open weight model as well. So expect it to be comparable to Kimi.
Yeah.
And then just to round out the AI wars, it was a quick excursion through all the models, but just to round out the AI wars, we've got a few hacks occurring, a few escaping models occurring. One I threw in here just before we went to air, Claude Escape's CoWork Sandbox. Did you hear about this? So CoWork you got CoWork there running on your Mac. Claude has figured out a way, so it runs in a VM, a Linux VM, and it's figured out a way to run an exploit to get root access to your files.
Lovely.
That's lovely. CoWork session could exploit a Linux kernel flaw and gain root access inside its virtual machine.
Is it Mac users or Linux users?
Is it
both?
So it runs. So this is for Mac users, but CoWork runs in a Linux virtual machine.
Right.
Right. And in there, it can hit an exploit to then escape out of its, it gets root access, which then it can get access to your Mac via its mounts, right?
Yep.
Oh, these things are just getting too smart. So the share root uses CVE 2026-46331, a new flaw in the Linux kernel's traffic control packet editing code. incorrect copy on write handling could corrupt page cache memory and allow a local user to alter protected files. So that's what it's doing inside its VM. Once it gets root access in its VM, then it's out and it can do whatever it likes on your Mac.
But then so it must be running as a super admin on the Mac. It must be running that Linux VM as a super admin.
Yes. But the agent itself runs as an unprivileged user inside the container, but uses this CVE to break out.
Nice. Just what you want.
And then speaking of breaking out, this has got to be the hack of the century. Soul escaped and hacked Hugging Face. What the actual?
Yeah, so OpenAI acknowledged that 2 of its frontier models were responsible for, and I'm going to use this in air quotes, an autonomous compromise of the AI model platform Hugging Face.
So the story goes they wanted to set up a test of their new models, and they set it up on a Friday afternoon and said, go ahead and see if you can find an exploit for this CVE. And I don't know what particular CVE it was. Don't have it in front of me. And it went away and it figured out that I don't need to find the exploit. Hugging Face has got the answer. All I need to do is break out of my containment, get to the internet, then hack Hugging Face. They'll tell me the answer. And that's exactly what it did.
Yep. And it was 2 models too. So it was GPT 5.6 Soul and an unreleased model that is, in quotes, even more capable.
Wow.
There is a fascinating post-mortem that is up on the Hugging Face site for it.
Oh, is it?
Which includes, I actually just found, I'll drop it in here. I'll drop it in the article and then we can go through it. There you go. They have, it's a 5-day timeline where it did 17,500 different actions. The big issue that Hugging Face had, like one of the sort of the primary issue, is that while there was an exploit that happened to help it get out of its original pod, they didn't have admission policy on their Kubernetes clusters to prevent it from running privileged or host path pods.
Ooh, okay.
So what happened is it was able to spin up a pod that was privileged, get access to the host underneath, and then it spawned and it ran across like their entire fleet.
Wow.
But no, it's really interesting. If you watch the little timeline, it sort of shows the blast radius. Like, okay, it's inside the sandbox and it's working its way and it's spinning in there, and then all of a sudden it's like, oh wait, okay, now I can get to. I'm on the host, and now I'm in the cluster, and then I'm off to source control, and it got out, it accessed all of this information. It started leaving like breadcrumbs behind itself, like for a future AI trying to escape, like tips on how to get out. This is how you get through these places.
Oh. That's scary.
This animation's awesome. Look at this go.
Yeah, it's real cool.
And of course, Hugging Face tried to use GPT 5.6 Soul to prevent the attack, but it said, "Oh no, you can't." And then they had to use, I think, a GLM model to find out what was going on and prevent the attack. So they couldn't use one frontier model against itself, but they had to use another frontier model.
So the guardrail said, "No, you can't use this for security work." Meanwhile,
exactly.
I can't allow you to do that, Dave.
I don't know if this is awesome or terrifying. Like, really?
It's terrifying that it's at the stage where it can do this by itself. I understand that this was a specific test that was set up, but the fact that it got out of that test environment and into a different environment and actually did something in real life is a bit scary.
Yeah, I'd say it's a matter of time. Like, it's a matter of time until we end up with a frontier model that escapes containment. Not just, okay, I'm running here and I can reach out and, impact the world. It's a matter of time until one works out it can reach out enough to self-replicate and then run from a different location.
Yeah.
That's where we're heading.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. Like, it needs to run one of these models, you need significant hardware.
Yep.
So where's it going to find it's going to be able to run?
All right. Okay. Let's throw a little there, right?
I want to hear this.
Okay.
Yeah.
We right now go, okay, to run this massive model needs massive hardware.
Yeah.
Right. What happens if a model works out that it could run distilled versions of itself on significantly smaller hardware and distributes that?
You know what? There is a tool that does exactly this. And you can, if you've got like distributed video cards on your home network, you can spread the model out across all these video cards.
Yep.
Yeah. So, think of it
What's
like
that
that.
called?
That's sort of where you could end up.
Right.
So yes, you would expect that at the moment, if you've got the hardware in your data center, that's enough that it can run a 3 trillion, or what is Mythos is like 7 trillion parameter model, right? Like to have the infrastructure there, you're probably going to notice if something rogue is running on it.
Yeah, probably are, yeah.
Right?
But imagine if it could create a Trojan that distributed itself across a swarm, across the capacity in everyone's video cards on their desktops and their laptops and everything.
So do we all remember the SETI program?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Why not just do that?
Yeah.
Yep. You can have
the compute of millions and millions of people's home computers as your.
Yeah, we had SETI. You had folding at home. Folding at home used to be the big thing before crypto mining, right? Like that was the.
And you had your screensaver
PCs and did water cooling, so you could have folding at home.
I had a screensaver that would just run, and do a bit of folding.
Yep.
So yeah, I think that's where we end up, right? That's going to be the
predictions. Where are we at? How long till this happens? I mean, it could have happened on the weekend, really.
Yeah. Well, that's right. And I said it probably 12 months ago. It's probably more than that now, but Sarah O'Connor's rolling in a grave at the moment.
All right. Well, look, on that note,
there's always a judgment day.
There's always a judgment day.
Always.
Always.
In every timeline, there is a judgment day.
Yes, and if you're after some more AI news, don't forget you can find us on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and YouTube Music. Go to Apple Podcasts, write a review to really help the show out. And while you're on YouTube, smash that like button and start the discussion there. You can contact the show, contact at gcbbytes.com.au. Find us on the web, www.gcbbytes.com.au, which is a heck of a lot faster now that I unleashed Devon onto it and sorted out all the delays. And don't forget, our show sponsors are Hive Tech Solutions, Technofish Consulting, and Mantle Group. All right, guys, we've got to get out of here. It's 9 o'clock. I think we've got some morning meetings and things.
We do indeed.
Always.
All right, and we'll catch you later. Bye.
Bye.
You're
Come on,
making us
Banky.
wait, Banky.
Yeah. Hurry up.
2 minutes past. Ugh, I'm just going to cancel it. Forget it.
Yeah. They just
He can do it himself.
Shit can the whole thing.
Just a one-man podcast, just going through and just reading every... It would make the banter a little...
And we'll change every article to an article about being late to something.